want to be here because I don't really like Halloween. I don't think you necessarily even have to like Halloween to have FOMO, which is, it's like, that's the craziest. We get so caught in over our heads about how people will view us that we forget to have a good time.
Boo. Something scarier than a Halloween costume is real talk about Halloween.
I didn't really plan on filming anything today, but I got this. It's fresh onion. Fresh spring onion. I thought it was so big. This is definitely one of the biggest onions I've ever seen. Isn't that so cool? I thought it was so neat.
Hi, so that was me about 4 videos ago, and I just wanted to keep the intro Halloween themed, but the rest of this video is gonna be kind of like a heart-to-heart. So I'm maybe a little sick today. And I know that, hi guys, first of all, happy Halloween if you are in a country that celebrates Halloween. I just wanted to quickly get on here and talk about something that I was thinking about, and I was like, hey, I just want to talk about this because there's someone in this world that maybe needs to hear this.
So as you can see, I'm a little bit sick. I don't really know what caused it actually. I was kind of not doing really okay cough-wise, and then it got a little bit better, and then it got worse. Anyways, but even if I wasn't, like, to be honest, I don't think I would be celebrating Halloween, which is kind of sad, but it's also because I've kind of been moving around here and there a lot, and I hate disappointing people, and I hate, like, making plans just to, like, cancel them in the last minute. Like, for me, I'll never be that type of person that does that. Like, I'm either saying that I'm going and I'm going, or I'm just not. I'm not gonna, like, be the flaky type, so.
And I just didn't know if I would have my together by now, and I'm so glad that I didn't make any plans because I do not have my together. So I kind of just wanted to talk about the whole concept of like FOMO, especially when it comes to holidays and stuff, because I feel like a lot of people can feel FOMO, and it's not even just about like the concept of like Halloween. Like, I don't think you necessarily even have to like Halloween to have FOMO, which is it's like that's the craziest part of it. You don't actually have to like feel something about this holiday specifically, or like this event specifically, to feel FOMO. And that's what sucks about it, because like growing up, like I didn't really care about a lot of holidays. I'm just not from like a holiday type of family. I didn't do much on Easter. I never really did much in Halloween, just besides like what my school provided, and that's just something that I experienced in school, like everyone does in public school. So because of that, like I've just innately never been like a person that's like really hyped up on holidays, whether that be Christmas, my own birthday, Halloween, Easter, just everything, Thanksgiving, things like that. And I think something in me kind of got like a lot worse when I suddenly like went to like middle school and high school, and now like holidays are not just something to be enjoyed by family, but it's something where it's almost like a social status. I think in middle school it's definitely less like that. It's definitely more just about like having fun with either friends or family because you're still like really young. But I think high school is when it really becomes something like, oh, like, who are you celebrating this momentous holiday with? And I feel like it doesn't have to be that pressurous. I'm not gonna say a lot of the right words in this video, but I hope that my message gets across. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that momentous or that like special, but I feel like there's such an added pressure to make holidays seem really special, and one of the ways that we do that is by celebrating it with people that are in our friend group. And all of these kind of friend groups like mingle amongst each other together and do like a Halloween party, or a Halloween costume contest, or like a Halloween like get together, or like they go trick-or-treating together and stuff like that. And I think that I feel like I've definitely had my fair share of having like those moments.
I'm definitely grateful. I just want to start off by saying I'm definitely grateful for the friends that I did spend those types of like holidays or like those types of events with. Even if it wasn't all the time, I'm definitely not negating the fact that like I did have friends in some years to celebrate those things with, and I'm extremely grateful for it. But I think I was so definitely still thankful for you guys, and like thank you for being my friends. Definitely not saying that it was like I don't appreciate it, because I appreciate all my friendships.
But I think looking back at it, a lot of the times as kids, we're like scrambling to like fit in, or like you're scrambling about whose party you're gonna be at, or who's like who am I gonna hang out with on this day, like who am I gonna go trick-or-treating with, and like just all of these different things, like who am I gonna be, like am I gonna twin with someone, and are we gonna be like not a cosplay, a costume group, or am I gonna be like a costume duo with someone, like all of these different things I feel like is such like a social pressure, and I didn't even know it at the time, but now that I'm older, I'm like kind of realizing, because
It's like, although I like cosplay and stuff like that, cosplay is something that I got into like honestly pretty recently, like within the last like year or so. So, and although I've always had like kind of like an innate interest in being a certain character, or like I just like anime, like the anime cosplay and like costumes for Halloween are also kind of like a different concept. So I'm not even gonna touch on that part.
so yeah, for me, when I just look back at it, for me, I feel like I was never really into Halloween, and I was never really that excited for Halloween. And because of that, I think I made myself more anxious, because I was forcing myself to spend time with and fit into a certain group, or just someone that I can cling to, that I can be a part of, so that
I feel like I'm a part of something and I'm not essentially a loser.
and I think now that I'm somewhat more of an adult, now I can kind of look back on it and actually like now that I'm somewhat of an adult now, I feel like I can look back on it and kind of say like, wow, like I didn't really have to force myself to like to put myself in like a squad, or in like a group of people that I wouldn't necessarily want to spend time with if it was honestly my choice. And not that I don't like those people, I just
Don't want to be here because I don't really like Halloween.
and I think at that time for me, I thought that it was really socially unacceptable to do that, just because of the own anxiety that I felt in my head of like,
Everyone's gonna be posting their Snapchat pictures and their like Instagram stories, and I'm not gonna have an Instagram story to post.
like I think I'm not saying that this is a first world problem, but I'm not really trying to diminish the fact that how people feel at this time. Like this is I'm not trying to say that this is a first world problem and we have more things to be worried about. Like of course it's a first world problem, but also like if we diminished everything that we felt and just labeled it as first world problems, we wouldn't be allowed to feel sadness. So I don't really think that that's something that I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say like I feel
We get so caught in over our heads about how people will view us that we forget to have a good time.
because a lot of our good times is just for show. And I understand that in that environment, which is why I'm talking about me when I was like in high school and like in freshman year or sophomore year, things like that. Like I think as a high school student, it's even more pressurizing and like heavy to see everyone around you like having a good time and just, doing things with their friends and just like honestly like fitting in. And it can be so I think when you're younger it can hit you harder, because you have like your peers are your world, and your school is it's your life, it's your livelihood, and it's something that you go to every single day. And when you're stuck in that world, it's so hard to just turn a blind eye to it. And I think that's why, like, I'm saying, like, I get it. Like, it's definitely, it is a first world problem, but at the end of the day, like, you're allowed to be sad about it. But I just want to offer some perspective by saying that I feel like a lot of, like, there were some Halloweens that I was able to celebrate with my friends, and there were other Halloweens that I remember this one specific Halloween, which sounds so sad when I say it like this, but like I didn't have like friends to like do trick or treating with, and I was so um what's that word called? Like self-aware. I was so self-aware that I was missing out on like a quite a big substantial holiday in North America. So like I got so in my head about that I made my mom turn, because like we lived like in a house, and like we had like, and it was like a house and it was like a neighborhood, so there's like people, like kids, like walking by, but to do trick-or-treating. And I vividly remember telling my mom to turn off like all the lights, like it basically in our house, to pretend that like no one is home, because I felt so self-aware and so almost like ashamed to not, like have any plans this day. So I remember sitting in the dark in my room because I turned off all the lights. And that was, I don't remember which year that was, but that was vividly a year that I celebrated, not celebrated, but like I chose to spend a Halloween. That's a Halloween that I actively chose to spend like that. I think my mom, because our master bedroom was like away from like the window that's like shown in like the outside. So like she was just in her master bedroom. She was fine. She was just treating it as like any other day. And I was like in my room, but my room is like shown to the outside. So like if I turn on my lights, like you can see that people are home. So I just turned off my lights for like 4 hours during the night when like kids would be trick-or-treating. And this was such a like a memory that I didn't even really think about until I kind of ranted on my story saying this, and this is what I want to say to you guys. I know that it's definitely hard, and I know that it's something that we just all kind of like, all of us just have to go through the social pressures of high school and public school, and like it's just what life is. And I'm not saying that it's like a huge like hardship or anything, but it can also be very mentally taxing to people, including myself. And I think that if like just I just want to give some perspective. And hey, if you don't have anything to do like with your friends, or you don't really necessarily have friends to spend this holiday with, why don't you go to a local cafe with like your family and get pumpkin spice lattes? Why don't you go to literally like Ralph's or something, or like just literally anywhere, and get like a pumpkin pie, like a celebratory Halloween pumpkin pie? Like why don't you go to a supermarket and just get like those pumpkin sugar cookies that they sell in the supermarket and just eat them with your family? Like, maybe that sounds depressing. I don't know. I don't think that sounds depressing at all. This is getting a little bit more ominous as the sun is setting. But I just like, I think about a lot of things and how a lot of things could have been different if I just let myself enjoy things instead of letting myself and constantly worrying about what other people thought of me. And maybe at that time I would have felt really like self-conscious or about it, and maybe at that time I would have felt like maybe at that time I would have felt like I still wouldn't have felt good even if I like spent time with my family and did more like Halloween things instead of literally locking myself up in my own room. But that's something that I don't know, because I didn't spend it like that. And I feel like if you just sometimes you just have to allow yourself to be happy. And I think that a lot of times we have such like a concept of like it has to be this, like Christmas has to be this, or I'm not happy, like it has to be perfect, like my birthday has to be this, or nothing can satisfy me. I feel like sometimes a lot of us might live in an extremist mindset of it has to be like hot girl Halloween for me to enjoy Halloween, but it doesn't have to be. And that whole concept of just like feeling grateful and just giving yourself a little bit, what's that word, of grace, and just letting yourself like live and not being so harsh on yourself. Like, again, it might mean nothing to no one, and no one might follow through with this, and literally this might be like the worst advice ever. And like maybe like again, like I understand that social pressure from like school and just peer groups and stuff like that can be so heavy that like nothing that anyone says matters. And if that's how you feel as of the moment, I totally understand where you're coming from. But if that's the case, I just want to tell you that this will pass. This time will pass, and there will be so many other times. So I just want to offer a little bit of perspective. So go get yourself a nice pumpkin treat. You deserve it. And I hope you have a comfortable and warm Halloween. Bye bye. See you in the next one.